The best unit in the game. These two units, you see them in every single game. They're both Son family, father and son. Which one are you going to be choosing? In one corner, we have Ultra Instinct Goku. He's the newest unit in the game, and at that, he's the Ultra that closed out the 2023 festival. He obviously has the Ultra Instinct mechanic that all the other UI users in the game have, but he has an extra few gimmicks that make him especially special. Let's also point out the fact that he will literally drag you back into the battlefield if you try to save your friends through cover changing. So that's not going to fly if UI is on the battlefield. In another corner, we got the ultimate Gohan that transforms into Beast Gohan from the superhero movie. This unit here is super dangerous. The vanish recovery is insane, and on transformation, he's gonna take yours as well. If you get hit with a blue card, you might as well start writing your prayers, because honestly, there's no way you're gonna survive that one. And even if you do, he's got at least 7 more. He's ready to reload it and hit you with another one. It's actually insane how much firepower Beast Gohan comes with. So these are the two units we're going to be discussing in this video. Who's the better unit? Considering you're already here, leave a comment on who you think is the best. You probably have your own opinion. I'm going to give my opinion at the end, but of course, if I did change your opinion, definitely let me know in the comment section as well. It's down to you to decide who you think is best. I'll have my opinion, you have yours, and everybody else, let's have a peaceful discussion. Let's get into this. So I feel like the best way to start would be to go through their kits just a bit. I'm not going to do the whole thing because their kits be having so much writing today. We're Dragon Ball fans, we don't want to read all of that, so I'm just going to pick out key segments of each of their kits so we can have a quick breakdown. Then I'll give my opinion, I'll give my reasonings as to why I think one unit is better than the other. For my opinion, I won't be including meta teams, but I will give a meta team opinion as well, because I feel like individually is one thing, and then including the factor of teams and equipments and all of that going on, it changes a lot. So just bear that in mind for the video. Let's get into this. Right, if we're looking at Ultra Instinct Goku, this is who we're going to address first. Through his main ability, he's able to draw a special arts card, which is a green card, and an ultimate arts card, the instantaneous assault, which is his ultimate, like I just said. Both of those are just very consistent. His green card draws a blast card every single time and does extra damage, and then his ultimate is just pretty much going to nuke you. If we're looking at his unique ability, one thing I really want to point out is the fact that when this unit is last stand, he's going to become super good. His gauge goes to 100% and he gets draw speed, and that's for every time a battle member on his team decreases. He's also going to get some damage inflicted, which will help him do a lot more damage. So last stand, he's going to be a different beast than when he has 3 people alive on the team. If an enemy activates an ultimate art, awakened art, or a rising rush, there's a number of things that activate. For example, he's going to restore his own health by 30%. He's going to go type neutral against damage sustained, which is a big factor. Shorten ally sub counts by 5, so you can possibly get him out of there. Reduce the enemy key by 100. He's also going to take your vanishing step, so your vanishing gauge will go to 0, and he's going to inflict to the enemy minus 50% to ultimate and awakened arts power for 3 time accounts, making your ultimate art and any awakened arts, which are the pink cards, a lot weaker when they hit. If we go into his second unique ability, of course we have the bulk here referring to his unique gauge, where he's able to dodge just like all the other Ultra Instinct users in the game. But what's also good about this, when he's receiving a strike art mid combo, the gauge could also be consumed. So let's say I start a combo and I have a strike. If I'm doing a combo against Ultra Instinct Sign Goku, the strike that follows once the combo has already started will in a sense be nullified, and he will essentially just backflip out of it, dodging the attack. This also applies to blue cards that are close range, green cards that are close range, anything that is strike orientated. I mentioned this earlier, but when there's a cover change that happens against this character's strike or blast, the cover change will be nullified and it will knock the unit back to long range. There's a couple things that activate here, and this is where the big guns come out. He's going to draw the ultimate art instantaneous assault, which is another ultimate. He's going to restore his own key by 60, and he's also going to inflict the enemies with no switching for 3 time accounts. Now why this is especially good is because he's able to get 3 ultimates. At the moment I've only mentioned 2, but if he becomes last stand, he's going to reset that effect. So if the enemy tries to cover change while you're attacking through strike and blast, if you're last stand and you already did that once prior to being last stand, it will reset, meaning that you'll get another ultimate, lock them in for 3 time accounts, and get the 60 key. I'd say those are the big guns referring to his kit. There are some other factors that also are good, but I don't want to be here all day. Let's get into Beast Gohan now. Beast Gohan also has a lot of useful stuff in his kit. So of course, the main ability, he's able to transform into Beast Gohan. When this happens, he's able to get 30% more health and 50 key. Now this is very important to note, because depending on whether he has the gauge full before he transforms would change how the transformation has an effect on the enemy. If the gauge is full, he's going to draw a special arts card, charge his unique gauge by 100%, 100%, destroy all of the enemy cards, and take their vanishing gauge, making it 0%. But if it isn't full, it's only going to charge the unique gauge to 30%, which is obviously a lot worse, which is why most people, when transforming with Beast Gohan, they want to make sure that the gauge is full before that happens. Prior to transformation, Ultimate Gohan, he has a Blast Arts cover change, but after the transformation, there's a Strike Arts cover change. I think that's a big difference that he has both, so I should just mention it. Every time an ally is hit pre-transformation, he's able to charge his unique gauge. His unique gauge will only fill once prior to transformation, but of course that's how you get the main ability, which becomes super OP if the gauge is full. I like that his green card always draws a blue card, even though it only happens twice. You have to think about the blue cards he's also going to draw in naturally. So if you want to spawn one, you got to hit the green card, it activates twice. He's going to get 20% damage inflicted as well, and all of your enemies' green cards will get destroyed, which is super annoying. And then his blue card, which is a big deal, is going to restore his vanishing gauge by 70%, and that activates 3 times. There's a difference though if his gauge is full or not. So if his gauge is full, he's going to draw a new card after doing the blue card, increases Dragon Ball by 1, and that can happen 3 times. And he's also going to give the enemy applies attribute upgrade minus 30% to enemy sustained damage cut, which will last for 3 timer counts. Naturally, he has blast armor on his strike, post and pre-transformation, but now going into the transformation, his main ability is actually super good as well. So he gets cover null from his main ability, but if he's last stand, his gauge is going to fill to 100%, and he's going to seal the enemy's rising rush by 15 timer counts. Now 1v3 or 1v2, sealing the enemy's rising rush is a big deal because Beast Gohan is already super tanky. Every 4 timer counts he's on the battlefield, he's going to restore his vanishing gauge by 70%. I think this is just super extra because he already restores his vanish gauge off his blue card, but that activates 3 times and it won't reset. So once you use it, it's gone. And for 1 time per game after transformation, he's going to nullify any explosive green cards. You already know them explosive green cards like Bardock and Goku, the Cell, just some examples to point out. And I think the last thing I'll point out is that when the enemy activates a special move, Ultimate Arts, Awakened Arts, or Rising Rush, he's going to charge his unique gauge by 50%, heal his allies, increase his allies' health restoration, shorten ally sub counts to get him out of there possibly, inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade minus 40% to special move, Ultimate, and Awakened Arts power, and cancel all of the enemy's buff effects. This happens every time, which also just helps him out on the battlefield consistently. Now that we've gone through their kits, I think we should do some analysis on both of these characters. Now what I will say is that in a 1v1 situation, I feel it's obvious that Beast Gohan is going to take the gold. Just off the fact that he's red and UI sign is yellow, that blue card is going to melt UI sign, and that's enough to just take Beast. Let's be for real. Of course we don't use the type advantage, type disadvantage argument in these cases, but in a 1v1 battle, that's what I'd like to mention. Beast Gohan will always take the cake, even if UI sign is doing more in terms of dodging and also getting priority. UI sign won't really be able to take him out unless he has 1 ally dead, because his ultimate will become type neutral. That would obviously help him do more damage against Beast, but even then it's only type neutral and not advantage, whereas Beast, more time than not, he will be type advantage. So let's get that out of the way. If we ignore their elements, let's really look at their kit. What I would put it down to would be your genuine skill. I feel like the average player would not do more with UI sign than they would with Beast Gohan, and let me explain why. Right now they're both on the boost. If not, UI sign is on the boost because he came out later than Beast Gohan. Just off that being the case, UI sign is going to have better inflated stats, but if we look at all the other Ultra Instinct users in the game, we all know they don't come with the best defenses, and I can say that's very consistent with this new Ultra Instinct Saiyan Goku. Although his output is super insane, if you aren't skilled enough to use his gauge in a way where you won't be able to get hit at all, you're going to take insane amount of damage and you're not going to be happy about the unit. Although it is super cool that he can dodge attacks, and it's super cool that he can stop you from cover changing and even dodge attacks mid combo, that won't save you forever. A battle is 180 timer counts, and your skill, if it's not high enough, you're gonna get caught eventually. What if your 2 other units get hit? You're gonna have only UI sign left and your gauge won't last forever. So you gotta think about the long term in a battle, because games aren't just 1v1s. It might seem like I'm downplaying UI a lot, but it's really in the hands of the holder. Me personally, I'd say as well, I always use this argument for every single unit. If a skilled person would do better with UI sign, imagine an easy unit to use like Beast Gohan, who's going to give you 3 vanish steps at all times. If you have to try so hard with UI sign to get the same results that you can easily get with Beast, if a skilled player chooses UI sign, imagine that same skilled player with Beast Gohan. I want to also point out that a lot of blues in the meta have faded away, but there's a lot of reds, or let me say at least 2, that are super dominant on the main teams that are used in PvP right now. Specifically, Fusion Warriors and movies, we have Beast Gohan and Ultra Vegito Blue. I probably should have addressed it already. In terms of skill, if you apply skill, UI sign wins that. But what I was diving into is the team factors, and I think the team factors just overwhelm UI sign too much, so Beast Gohan's going to win in that sense. units. Yellows are valuable, but if there's no purples, which there aren't right now, Jiren's faded away, or he's fading away, and Gold Frieza hasn't been seen for a while, Cell's literally gone missing. So at this point, all the purples that UI Sign could be doing crazy damage to, they're not being used as much. I'd say the one being used the most is probably Ultra Gogeta Blue, maybe Jiren, and I'd say Ultra Gogeta Blue because of Fusion Warrior's popularity. But UI Sign's being used because he's UI Sign. He has the favoritism factor, but he's also a good unit at that point as well. So if we're considering teams, you're building a team either around Ultra Instinct Goku or Beast Gohan. Let's also point out the fact that they can be used on the same team. But I feel it's more likely that Beast Gohan will be thriving on the team because he's a lot tankier and his offensive power is a lot more. UI Sign, his kit is revolved around his gimmick where he's able to dodge and also stop units from cover changing. He has a good ultimate as well, but it's only really super valuable once one unit is dead because then he can do type neutral damage to units that are type advantage over him. I think that pretty much wraps up everything that I wanted to say about these two units. Just to reiterate, because of elements in a 1v1 battle, Beast beats UI Sign. In terms of skill, if you're using UI Sign, you're most likely going to beat Beast every single time. It might be difficult, but I'm being realistic, and skill at the highest level, UI Sign is practically untouchable. But in terms of teams, most teams that are being used, unless you're using the triple Ultra Instinct Sign team, which I've used consistently, and I think that pretty much can beat every team in the game if you're super skillful as well. Outside of that team, every team that Beast Gohan's on, including the same teams that UI Sign is on, he steals the spotlight and he's going to do more damage and be more promising on the battlefield than UI Sign. They both have 1v3 potential, but in most cases, me personally, I'm always going to take Beast Gohan. I feel once the boost falls off, we will see how much UI Sign is really shining. His defenses right now are actually inflated and his damage as well. I can say the same about Beast, but Beast just in general feels a lot more solid with all of those factors already. In my opinion, UI Sign, he feels a bit squishy, but the dodge factor is enough to avoid all of that damage that you could be taking. So for those reasons, offensively, I really much respect UI Sign, but defensively, off boost, I really fear for him, man. But I guess we'll just have to see. I could be completely wrong, and like I said at the start of the video, this is my opinion. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, man. I wanted to give my opinion because a lot of people have asked me who's better, Beast Gohan or UI Sign. This should pretty much wrap up the festival, considering that Ultra Instinct Goku was the last unit that we're getting for the 2023 festival. We're now heading into 2024 with this GT campaign. The battle hour is coming up soon, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do this year, but with the battle hour especially. Do you agree with me or you disagree? Let me know what you guys think about both units, who you think's better, which one you use more, anything like that. But press that subscribe button, man. We're on this grind to 100,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys for watching the video, man. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.